lovely name and what a lovely day. Let me hit merge right there and make that camera come back to me. Wait a minute, wrong one. Let's hit the right one. Man, sometimes you just forget stuff, don't you? Buttons, buttons, buttons. Well, good evening, y'all. Who all? Might be somebody here. I got a little whistle there. Let me get up and make a little adjustment. Turn this microphone down just a hair. Get rid of that little squeal, and we'll pick another song. Let's see here. I like to play. I was going to play another song. I'll play it in a minute. But my mom and daddy used to sing this. Oh Lord, about 65 years ago. Way back in the 1900s. What a day that will be. Thank God. Another old hymn book song. I stand in eternity. I thought that was all. Well, I've got the monitor turned off in the studio because I got complaints from my better half. She said it was too loud in here. So I'm using earphones and I lost my place on the track there. Anyway. Well, what can I say? If I was professional, I wouldn't let that go. And of course, we can't back up because we are live. If it happens, it happens. If this earplug falls out of my ear, it's just too bad. Whatever. Anyway, it's good to be here. I hope some folks join us this newer time, a little bit earlier. I know you would think with daylight savings time, with extra hour daylight, that you would go the other way, but no. I did. Every time I come in here, it seems like that last hour of waiting, knowing I'm fixing to do this. So I just decided to back it up to 8 o'clock Eastern time, 7 o'clock Central time. And that's from the Georgia line to somewhere way out the other side of Texas. And got the old telly down. This guitar, I've had a lot of guitars. I still have half a dozen or so. I got the old Fender Acoustasonic telly. I've got a 50th anniversary American USA Strat. I've got a foreign-made Jazz Master over there with the humbucker pickups in it. And I got the double neck guitar. It's still in the closet. I got the Taylor. The Taylor is my most expensive guitar. It's a $4,000 guitar today. I also have the 6120 Gretsch check in style Gretsch. It's about retail about a $2,000. It's about a $1,500 to $2,000 guitar. But this guitar right here, I probably have a hard time parting with this. As many Fenders that I have had, they've all been good guitars. I like playing the Fender guitar. I played the Mosrite for 20 years, and then I went back to a Fender. But I wound up playing the American Stratocaster. I played for 15 years, and then I started playing the tellies. And I had 2 or 3 tellies, and I wound up with this because I wanted a Nashville edition. It's called a Nashville Deluxe, or Deluxe Nashville. It has a 3rd Stratocaster. I'm playing this on a Telecaster pickup. It's a real rich sound, but then it has a Telecaster pickup in the middle, and you can mix the two. You got a mixture too, and then you got pure old with a Stratocaster built into a Telecaster. That is Stratocaster. But then you can mix the Stratocaster and the Telecaster bridge pickup. And then the standard Telecaster. But it's such a versatile guitar. But one thing that makes it so hot, and I think it sounds good. Everybody has a different taste in what they like to play, and that's fine. But these are not Fender pickups in this guitar. I had a white one like this that was newer, that had the same style guitar, but it had the Fender noiseless pickups, and I thought they sounded good, and they do. But these are Seymour Duncan, and they call them vintage stack. It's a noise canceling stack pickup, like a humbucker stack instead of side by side. There's a pickup under this pickup, in other words, there's actually wired to 6 different pickups in here in versions of 3 with a and the neck is smaller than the Telecaster, Stratocaster, where I played for. I got it down the other day to play. I thought maple neck, and I thought, man, how thick is this neck that I played for 15 years? This is like the old style Fender neck when I was a teenager, and they made them real thin. And of course, Eugene Moles. If you watch any of Nashville of RFD, you've seen Eugene on some of the country shows there. He's a heck of a telly picker, any kind of picker. He played with Merle Haggard when he was a teenager. He worked with Semmy Mosley when he was a teenager in Semmy's guitar shop, but he plays mostly Telecaster. He's a Telecaster genius, and he took it and replaced the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frets, and then he dressed all of them. Sometimes a guitar like this has some drag on the fret corners. He smoothed these off when you play, and you don't even know they're there. And so these frets have been polished smooth, the neck straight, make sure the truss rod was completely gone through and set up. And I wouldn't have a hard time trading it for a $3,000 or $4,000 custom shop Fender, because I don't think the boys at Fender would know how to set it up like this one. But man, it just plays like butter, and I've gone to he set it up for 946 strings, and the guitar pickers know what that is. And but I played those for a while, and then I went up a gauge. It had a little bit of a fret rattle if you played it hard, because he's got the action down low like I wanted. But I went to a 1046, I believe it is, and give me a little more bite. And they still bend like. Talked to my buddy Big Mo this evening. I was asking him some questions about some settings and stuff on PA. I got a speaker from him a couple of months ago, an EV speaker that sounds real great. It's a ELX series, and I wound up buying another one so I would have a pair. But I was asking him some questions, but he said he had just got in from eating lunch, and he'd spent the night and the day with Ronnie Henson. Ronnie was down in somewhere. Mo and Ronnie are good buddies anyway. They write songs together. Both of them great songwriters. But he said he had just got out from eating lunch and having Ronnie Henson all day today and all night last night at his house. I thought, boy, you poor thing. Ronnie Henson. Lord, you need prayer, man. Lord, I know that boy fellow. Ronnie's a great guy. He's a good guy to be around. And I did a lot of dates back in the old days before I got old and feeble. I did a lot of dates with with the Hensons. Had a lot of good times with them. Of course, I remember when they first come over here. The Goodwins brought them over, and they wrote this song. And I think everybody in the world that has sang a song has sang this song here. And A Lighthouse. What a song. Good job, Ronnie, if you happen to hear that. Lord, how many times has it been sung or sang? We just got home, what's the day? Tuesday. I do this on Tuesday, don't I? And we came in Monday. We had we had a bittersweet weekend, for sure. But we've been gone for the last 2 weeks. Week before last was Mother's Day, and we hadn't seen baby girl, grandsons, and son-in-law Dan, the furniture man. We hadn't seen them, and we saw Donna and Dan. Where did we see them? Back in March, maybe. But we hadn't seen the grandkids. We hadn't visited since Christmas. So we went up to North Carolina and stayed about 2 or 3 days. And Linda went to tea with Donna on Monday after Mother's Day. And I just laid around and coughed and wheezed and all that kind of stuff. And, Well, it was a good trip, 900 miles round trip. And then we came home for 2 days and took off to Illinois in the motorhome. We went to North Carolina in the car, and we drove the motorhome because we were going to be spending the night, and we went early to have a day of rest before. And so we were scheduled in Illinois on Sunday morning and Sunday night down in Water Valley, Kentucky. And so we rested all day Saturday, good day of rest, and Sunday was Pentecost Sunday, and there was a real sweet spirit in the church from the time we went into. Linda and I went into the Sunday school. We got ready, dressed and ready a little early, and went into Sunday school. And the Sunday school lesson was teaching on Pentecost. And we went out into the auditorium, and it was a smaller church, not a large crowd, but a great crowd, great people. And the Spirit of the Lord just sweet in that place. It was just a good presence. And Sister Linda got all unwound or wound up or whatever. Couldn't even sing. The Spirit of the Lord hit her, and she all she could do was just stand there and cry. So she left me standing out singing a harmony part with her not there. Boy, that did not sound good. I thought that is not spiritual. But I thought one time, what am I going to do? So I just kept on letting it play, and Linda just kept on praising the Lord. And so I thought, if that ever happens again, I'm just going to fade the track down and start praising the Lord with her. But it was a great service. And Brother John Chamness, his wife Grace, Linda said, and I have to agree with her, they're two of the sweetest, most precious people that we know in ministry. Just a pleasure to be around. But we had a great service, and so we left there and headed to our Sunday night service. We went across, and Pastor said, come on, I want you to go across the river over to Missouri where gas is about 60 cents a gallon cheaper, and I want to fill your tank up. And they gave us a very generous love offering. And then he went over and put $200 worth of fuel in my motorhome. Really blessed us. And so we took off down Interstate 55 in Missouri, heading towards Kentucky. And all of a sudden, Linda was driving because I had changed clothes. We hadn't got far away, and I looked down at I heard this beeper going off, and she said, this thing's hard to steer, and it's running hot. And I said, uh-oh, I know what it is. And I know the power steering pump, water pump, the fans, air conditioner, everything runs off a big, long serpentine belt that runs everything. And I had put a new alternator on it last year, and the guy that put it on there last fall, I said, I got a brand new belt here. He said, that belt looks great, man. No cracks in it. So I just put it back on there. I don't think he wanted to change it. And so we hadn't made that many trips. Anyway, that serpentine belt left us somewhere up on Interstate 55. And Sunday you can't find anything. And so we're stuck on the side of the road. And we began to online and calling. And Linda contacted somebody that they put through to a road assistance highway, road, I forget what you call it. Anyway, they came out. They said it'd be about 45 minutes to an hour. This is 2 hours later. So I called Marcus McClure, pastor down Water Valley. I said, man, I'm just sick that we're broke on the side of the road. We're not going to be able to get there in time. And he said, I understand these things happen. So we missed our Sunday night service. And that's where the bittersweet part was. It was sweet that morning. It's bitter that night having to miss the service. And got a little bit bitter when they got finished with it because they came out and put it on. They only charged $525 to put on a serpentine belt and make a Sunday call. Whew, I shuddered. Well, I said, well, it's money. And then Linda made the statement, and what she was true. We've been so blessed. There was money to pay for it. God blessed us through that. And that's only probably the second time that we have had to pay out anybody. One time we had to pay a wrecker fee for somebody to come pick the bus up and plug an airline years ago. We've not been towed. We've not been broke down on the side of the road. We have never missed a date that I know of, or I can't remember ever missing a date because of mechanical failure. And so it was really a blessing. And so the 525 bucks, man, you know, like I say, there was money there to pay for it, and a little bit left over. And so we thank God for His mercies. Nobody was hurt, and we got the belt on, and we eased on down into Kentucky to a Flying J resort. Pulled in, went to bed, slept solid from 11 to 9, and came on in. So it was a good weekend. And we're not going to do anything the rest of this month. June is our anniversary. We've got a private event that we're going to about our anniversary time, and then we're going on a little voyage down in, around Nassau for about 5 days during our anniversary. And then summertime, we're going to take these. So we don't have a whole lot going on the next couple of months. Then we'll pick back up with a date or two. If anybody listening or watching, any pastors that's in radius, you know, of 100 miles or a couple hundred miles or something, would like to do a service anytime between now and fall, we can always throw the speakers and guitars in the back of that MKZ hybrid. Gets 40 miles to a gallon, and just buzz up wherever you're at and join a service and eat dinner and come home. All right, I done stood here and talked about 10 minutes, so I'll play another song and we'll get out here. Oh, I almost forgot. I know we're on because I checked things out before I went on to make sure that the Facebook codes are in there, and it says we were. Let me just see if anybody is watching. Search for Charlie Beatonbow, Beatenbo, right there. That's me, and that's me with the blue checkered shirt on. We got comments. Well, that means somebody's watching. Neil Pope and a lady I know today. Jan Buckner came by for a minute, I guess. Today is Jerry Morrison's Leather Lungs. Jerry Morrison's birthday. She's been in heaven since I forget the year. I have to look it up now. It's been long, but well, I'll tell you what, I miss her. I miss Wendy. He was a good friend, and of course Jan's still with us. I miss Geraldine. Geraldine was one of a kind, and the 10 years I traveled with them the first time was really a good time. We had some great times and concerts all over the country with Wendy and Jerry and Jan and myself. It was a good 10 years. And then I went back and worked with them the last year before Wendy passed away. That was a different type of time. Things had changed a lot over the years, and I was in full-time ministry, but I still worked that in with my schedule, and it was really a good time. But I miss Geraldine. And there's old Neil Pope. I'm glad the Pope's here. Always good to see you, buddy. Hey, Cotton Top. Yeah, it's white as cotton now, isn't it? Sheila, Lord, it's good. Hadn't seen you in a long time. Church of the Living Christ family here. It's been over a year since we were up in your neck of the woods. Papa Joe, always good to see you. Appreciate your faithfulness to stop by. Neil said it sounds good. I hope so. Maybe most of these tracks I can remember for how they go. You don't play stuff for months and months, and all of a sudden you decide to play it. In fact, you got to remember how this goes. Ray Snyder, bless your heart, buddy. Good to see you. I think you said you was on the lake. I hope you're getting a signal there. And we're going to spend some time on the lake in July. Hot summer, I'm not going to travel in ministry. We're going to put that motorhome up on Lake Allatoona under a shade tree and fire the grill up and leave it running constantly. Steve Hanks, piano picking. And he's a picker. Steve played with Laverne Tripp. I don't know who else, but I know he worked with Laverne Tripp a long time. Steve's a great piano player, teacher over South Carolina. Good to see you. Jan, I'm glad that you always glad. It tickles me when you come by and I see your name come up. It's always good. We had a lot of good times together in the music business. picking and grinning. And my, how time has passed away. Time has gone, has gone, has gone. I don't know. It's hard to believe this year the way it's gone. And I will be 77 years old in 4 months. And it's been so long since I was with Wendy Bagwell and Sunlighters. I went with them in 1972 when Donna was our daughter was 4 weeks old. And we had already talked and negotiated to get together before she was born. And I said, well, if you'll give me 4 weeks to make sure that everything's okay with her and Linda before I take out on this venture. We wasn't going for weeks at a time. We was only gone, I think the longest we was ever gone in 10 years was 5 days at one time. We always went and came home and went back. And but when she was 4 weeks old, she was born March 25th, and it was April the 24th, 25th, 26th, so I have to look at the calendar to see that I worked with the first date with them. And every year I remember it. But time is going so fast. This past April, last month, that date went by and marked 52 years ago that I went with them. And I didn't even think about it. I had totally, I haven't forgotten it. But I tell you what, that's just where is the time going? But to think that I never thought I would be 77. Never thought I would make it that long. But the Lord's been good. He's blessed. And I want to do what I'm doing till he comes back or he calls me or whatever. And kind of looking for him to come back pretty soon. From what I've been hearing, what I've been reading, the meetings we've been in, the things that's going on, and what we see happening in this world, it's a good chance that we could be residents of Jerusalem probably in less than 10 years. We could be living in Jerusalem. You know that? You ever think about that, Christians? That the rapture, which is not listed in the Bible, some folks don't believe in a rapture, but I do. I believe that there's going to be a catching away of the saints. The trump of God is going to sound in the sky. The dead in Christ are going to rise, and all those that are alive and remain are going to be caught up to meet him in the air. We're going to go up and be with Jesus. The study we've been following in Revelation tells us how that there's going to be some crowns distributed and some things going on, and there's going to be a marriage supper. It's going to be a 7-year period while the Great Tribulation. There'll be 3.5 years of tribulation, then there'll be 3.5 years of great tribulation. And then we, with Jesus himself in our glorified body, are going to come back to the Mount of Olives, and we're going to march down. And I read the other day that Eastern Gate is about 18 to 2 foot deep concrete wall or door there. And Jesus is going to bust that thing wide open and come in, and we're going to come in with him and rule and reign on this earth in Jerusalem and wherever he assigns us to rule and reign with him for 1,000 years. The devil is going to be, he's going to be tied. He's going to be, his power is going to stop. There will be peace on this earth. They sing that song, Peace in the Valley, and they talk about the lamb laying down by the lion and all these things that's going to happen. That's going to be the time that all this takes place. There's going to be perfect peace. We're going to have glorified bodies. We're not going to be sick. We're not going to have sinuses. We're not going to be forgetful. We're not going to be old. Things are going to change. Once we come out of the grave or leave this ground, whichever we do and go to be with the Lord, it's to be with him forevermore, wherever he's at and whatever he's doing. And all this 1,000 year, if you study this, and we've listened to it intently for the last month. We missed last Sunday, and we've got to catch up on YouTube. And because we're doing a whole study on the book of Revelation. And it's exciting to know. I mean, you don't think about it. You think, well, Jesus is coming, and he might be here in another 100 years, or might be here in 200 years. It might be even just 50 years. No, it's not going to be 50 years. There's no way, according to Scripture, that this, when you watch the news to see what's going on in the signs of the times, that I don't see any way that the way you see how this world has changed and how things have gone from bad to worse, even in the last 3 years. And you can't blame it just on the government. It's the enemy himself, Satan, Lucifer, the devil that is operating and running these people and making things happen. And so it's what it's doing. I don't think the devil realizes it. He's not no dummy, but he's shooting himself in the foot, because what he's doing, he's hurrying up the second coming of Christ, and he's fixing to be bound up and tied up for a period of time. And then after that takes place, he's going to be loosed for a small season. They got to loose him because there's an angel, one little angel, going to cast him into the bottomless pit, into the fiery lake of fire. Whew, man, I'm telling you, it's going to be something else. But anyway, I know way past time, but I'll play a song that I can still remember and get out of here. It's one of my favorite old songs to play. And I'll play it Stratocaster style because I love this song. It says, I know who holds tomorrow.